hello. Hi. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. You're doing good. You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. Doing fantastic, baby. I wrote a poetry book. It's called The Many Shades. It's called The Many Shades of Flowers. It's $1. It's got 40 love poems for $1. Amazing. What a deal, huh? The link is in the description. I'd appreciate a 5-star rating from anyone who gets it. Thank you. I think I sold 20 books so far, which is great. It sounds small, but it's actually a lot. My goal is to reach 100 units sold for that book. That would be amazing, to sell 100 books. So 80 more to go. I literally just need to keep promoting. Eventually I'll get there. We'll see how far I get by the end of the year. How many books I can sell by the end of the year. It's a great start. 100 books sold is a great start. It's a marathon, not a sprint, people. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'm 24 now. I keep doing this. Where will I be when I'm 30? Maybe when I'm 30, I'm selling thousands of books. But you have to start somewhere. So I'm very happy with the 100 units sold for my first efforts. My first effort with a large following. I've published before. I published poetry anthologies in the past. But I never sold anything because I didn't have this channel. I didn't have like a following at all, really. So now I do have a following, so I can utilize that to my benefit. So yeah, if I can get to 100, that'll be great. The next book will aim for more, and then we'll just keep going up from there. Eventually people will recognize the name when it comes to poetry. They'll know that, that's the guy that writes those poetry books, and it'll become its own self-sustaining stream of income. It would be amazing, some career. So just like how I built a following here, I can also build a following in the realm of poetry, which is the goal. It's the goal. In the realm of writing in general. Anywho, so yeah, Biden had a press conference yesterday. Bro, what the hell, man? He made a couple of mistakes. At this point, it's hard to keep track of it all, but the main two things that the media was talking about that I saw was like he called Kamala Harris, he called her Vice President Trump, which was so awkward. And he just kept going, and people, you should have seen the camera pan to people's faces. People were just like, oh my God, this guy, bro, he keeps doing this. And then when he was introducing Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, is he president or prime minister? Who cares? When he was introducing Zelensky, he introduced him as Putin. It's President Putin, which was like, what the fuck? That's Zelensky, that's not Putin, Biden. And then Biden realized his mistake and corrected himself. It was just so like... And it's been fascinating to watch the media turn on this guy. Because after the debates, mainstream liberal media, the liberal mainstream media turned on this guy after that debate he had with Trump. Now all of a sudden they're attacking him day in, day out. It's all they talk about. It's just Biden. And certain people are getting upset about it. A lot of people are saying, I can't watch the media anymore. I can't watch news anymore because they keep talking about how mentally deficient Biden is. It's very upsetting, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, y'all are a bunch of pussies because they've been doing this to Trump for years. Oh my God, day in, day out. And with Biden, all they're really doing is just saying that, hey, maybe he needs to step down because he's not mentally fit. With Trump, it's like they parse through his words and call him a rapist, they call him this, they call him that, and it's non-stop. Biden just gets a little bit of attention, and it's truthful, it's objective, it's balanced, it's fair, and the whole enterprise is seemingly collapsing just from this little exposure. Bro, they've been doing this to Trump for years. It's truly fascinating to behold. But people are starting to realize, yeah, that this guy has serious issues. He has serious issues, cognitive issues, and he's not fit to run the country. And that's what CNN is saying. That's what MSNBC is saying. That's what all these people, ABC, all these networks that before were calling people right-wing conspiracy theorists for saying that Biden is not fit for office. This guy is too old. No, he's not too old. He's just cognitively dysfunctional. He can't do this job. And people have been saying this for years. People are noticing signs of this, like in 2020. Before 2020, people were noticing signs of this. But they would dismiss this conspiracy theorist. And when people would show footage of him doing dumb shit, they would say that the footage was manipulated by Republicans. Which is such a ridiculous concept. This was footage caught on camera by the people who were reporting at the events. And they'll just publish it, and then people would take that and then share it across social media. It wasn't manipulated at all, but they would say it was manipulated, right? It's just like... But now, the same media networks that were disparaging people for pointing out Biden's cognitive issues is the same media going after Biden for his cognitive issues. You're like, what the hell? Like, bro, like, the dishonesty is genuinely shocking, because it's like y'all were calling a whole lot of people conspiracy theorists for pointing this stuff out. Now you're saying the exact same things. You're saying the exact same things. During hold on. During Biden's fundraiser with Obama and George Clooney and someone else was there. People were looking at the footage. There was a moment where Biden froze on stage. It was time to leave. Obama was waving, saying goodbye, goodbye. And Biden just froze on stage. And Obama had to take him by his wrist and pull him away from the crowd. Because he was just frozen. He wasn't moving. Everyone was saying it's time to go. And he was just frozen. And people were saying it was manipulated by Republicans. The footage was manipulated by Republicans. They call it a cheap fake. Oh my God, bro. Like, what the hell? But now, George Clooney wrote an article where he was saying that at the event, he could tell that there was something wrong with Biden. He said, this is not the same Biden from before, from years ago. This guy is not mentally fit. This is what George Clooney was saying. He was helping at the fundraiser. He's not some Trump fan. He is literally part of the Biden campaign. He was fundraising on their behalf. He was with Biden and Obama on stage at the event fundraising on behalf of the Biden campaign. And he was saying in this article that was published recently, like a couple days ago, that Biden's not doing well cognitively. But when people were pointing that out like weeks ago when this whole fundraising took place, we're being called conspiracy theorists. I pointed it out on this channel, and people said I'm crazy in my comments. Probably some of you are watching, listening to me right now. It's genuinely shocking to see the same people that were calling us crazy for pointing this stuff out now come around and say the same things we've been saying for a long time. The whole world can see this, guys. The whole world can see that Biden is a clown and he's cognitively impaired. It's just baffling how the media can just lie so brazenly, and act like they like oh, we're shocked by this. You were in on it. You were covering it up. It means they knew that this guy is not fit for office. They knew that this guy has serious issues. and they were covering up, but now they realize that they can't mask it anymore. You can't lie anymore. It's too obvious. So now they're acting like they're against the whole thing, but meanwhile you're supporting the whole thing. When people were pointing this out for years, you were calling them conspiracy theorists. It's funny how that works, man. Like, where's the accountability? How will these people ever be held accountable for this? It's just shocking, is all I'm saying. People in my comments, there were people in my comments saying that, oh, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, you don't know what you're talking about. Now, it was so obvious. You just look at the man, you can see there's something wrong with him. This is not a man who's mentally sharp. The media was saying he's the sharpest he's ever been. He's never been sharper. That's what the media was saying. It's so absurd. They were saying it's actually Trump with the mental issues, with the cognitive issues. It's actually him who needs to get an evaluation, da 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 da. Which is so, like, bro, if you just compare them side by side, like, I've watched several of Trump's speeches at his rallies. These things can be hours long, and I've watched the full things in many cases. You don't get any sense that this man is cognitively impaired. He tells very detailed stories when he's explaining his policy positions. He's very funny, very engaging, very sharp, and he does this very regularly, right? You can't compare Trump to Biden when you're talking about cognitive capabilities. It's not even close. It's not even in the same dimension. But people, the game the media is playing is that it's not Biden who's cognitively impaired, it's Trump. It's like, what? If you just use your eyes, you can see that's not the case. But anyway, now that we know that this guy has all sorts of issues, and by the way, I watched a video where this doctor was saying, and again, this is not some Trump support or whatever. He was on a liberal media network talking about how Biden more than likely has Parkinson's disease. He was saying you can diagnose, any professional can diagnose him from meters away. You can just look at him and see that this guy probably has Parkinson's. Because there's telltale signs. It's talking about the way he walks, the way he arches his back, the way he slurs his words, so on and so forth. How his mouth is open sometimes. If you know, you know, man. Just certain things he does and says, and certain behaviors, they're like, there's something seriously wrong here. It's not nothing. It's not nothing. That's what we can be sure of. But so it's clear that this guy he's not only unfit for re-election, he's not fit for his current office right now. He shouldn't be running the country right now. In fact, it's not possible that he's running the country right now. So now the question people are asking is, who the hell is running the country? It came out very recently, like yesterday, that during his meetings, he'll be having briefings with his staff. They have to prepare questions from him. You know how you just step into a meeting and your staff asks questions and they say, what we do here, boss, da 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 da. Before Biden gets into this meeting, he has to be sent the question so he can prepare. Because you can't just speak to him off the cuff like you would in a normal meeting where you just bring your points and then we discuss it there and then. He has to prepare for it beforehand because he's that impaired. He needs that extra time. But the issue with that is sometimes it makes everything very rigid and you end up missing certain things, certain points that you wanted to address. You have to move on his terms and his pace. So there's just certain things that will just never get addressed because this guy is so slow and incapable of processing several things at once. So these are things that we're hearing about behind the scenes, right? And there've been many when they found his because one of the things that they indicted Trump for was the ownership of classified documents. He took classified documents with him out of the White House, and they say you're not allowed to do that. With the difference between Trump and Biden, when Trump did that, he was president. Biden was vice president when he was holding on to classified documents. Trump was president. As president, you have the authority to declassify certain documents and hold on to things, and you have presidential immunity, so on and so forth. Anyway, with Biden, so they indicted Trump for that. They didn't indict Biden for holding on to classified documents. And the argument was, we don't want to indict him because He's an old, well-meaning man that was probably, he didn't know what he was doing because he's cognitively impaired. Therefore, we can't try him for this crime. It would be cruel. And then it's like, if you can't try him for the crime because he's cognitively impaired, why is he allowed to be president? If he's mentally unfit to be held for trial, how is he mentally fit to be the president of the most powerful country in the world? It doesn't make any sense, bro. Like, it's just it's a bunch of malarkey. So the question people are asking is, this guy is clearly not running the country. Who is? There's speculation that his wife Jill has strong influence. This wouldn't be the first time something like that has happened. There was a president in the past. Who was it? Man, the name is on the tip of my tongue, but I'm forgetting. There was an American president in the past. Woodrow Wilson or something like that, I think. I think it was Woodrow Wilson. Anyway, he also I think he'd had a stroke or something. He'd also become cognitively impaired, and his wife was making decisions on his behalf, unbeknownst to the general public. So something similar is happening here with Biden. People are speculating, because his wife Jill speaks a lot at a lot of these events on his behalf. It's like, Jill, move. No one wants to listen to you. What are you? You're not the president. I think she's making a lot of very important decisions. The issue with that is no one elected her. And also his advisors are probably making decisions. The people around him are probably running the country, and he's not, which is problematic because no one elected these people. So you have a whole bunch of people whose intentions and positions you're not fully aware of who are running the country, and that's illegal. That's not allowed because they weren't elected. They were not elected, and yet they're running the country, which is crazy. There's no way Biden's running the country in his current state. There's just no way. It's not possible. Someone else is doing his job. This is a mess, guys. It's a serious mess. And it's just fascinating to watch how the liberal media is turning on this guy. And now all of a sudden, they have all these criticisms to make that people have been making for years. For example, they're saying that Biden, they actually have the gall, the audacity to now come out and say that Democrats wouldn't have to deal with Biden if they didn't rig their own primaries, which people have pointed out for a while now, but they get dismissed when they say that. It's a right-wing conspiracy theory. It's not. It's literally what happened. Earlier this year, the Democrats had an opportunity to have a primary where they elect their new nominee for the race. It didn't have to be Biden. You had a bunch of options, right, that you could have had. But they removed names off the ballots so that people could not vote for anyone except Biden. So Biden became the de facto nominee. He just won by default because they didn't have a primary. That's absurd. That's corrupt. That's not democratic. There's nothing democratic about that. That's incredibly corrupt. Right? And if you go even further back beyond that, 2016, I remember I was in high school in 2016. I was a little socialist, believe it or not, back in 2016. And again, keep in mind, I live in South Africa. Everyone follows American politics, American media around the world. There was a little clique of us who were like pro Bernie Sanders. I was like a Bernie Sanders guy. I was like, whoa, Bernie Sanders. He seems like a very interesting fellow. I want him to win. This is 2016, when that race was going on. And he was really popular. A lot of people around the world liked Bernie Sanders. So it was shocking when Hillary Clinton became the nominee. We're like, how did she become... How did that happen? Because you would have assumed that Bernie was definitely going to be the nominee on the Democrat side, right? No. And the reason why Bernie wasn't the nominee wasn't because of some fair process and the people chose Hillary Clinton. No, the people wanted Bernie. The Democrats rigged that process as well so that Hillary could end up being the nominee. Hillary's got a very checkered past. she's not a the Clintons in general. Oof. We don't have to go into all of that, but yeah, people did not want Hillary. I'm sure some. She's a woman, so people are like, oh, we can vote for a woman because people are stupid. You should vote for someone based on their qualifications, not based on their private parts or their skin color. But yes, some people don't understand that. But anyway, Hillary became the nominee instead of Bernie, and you're sidelined. The Democrats have a history of doing this sort of nonsense, rigging their own primaries, right? And here's another question for people, because another right wing, quote unquote, right wing conspiracy theory is that the 2020 election was rigged. My question to people that think that that's just a bunch of nonsense: if these people are willing to rig their own primaries, you think they're not going to do that in the national election, like against the Republicans? You think they're not going to play dirty there as well? You're naive. I remember seeing stats about how Trump was ahead in certain swing states in 2020, like by like 8 points in some circumstances, and then they just said, well, we're stopping counting for the night. We're not counting anymore. We're going to bed. People are like, wait, what? Wait, what do you mean? Keep counting. They're like, no, we're going to bed. And then they came back the next morning and there was an influx of mail-in ballots, and all of a sudden Biden was ahead by a lot, marginally ahead. It was a close race, but Biden went from being very far behind to all of a sudden being ahead. And the thing that, that by itself would have been suspicious, but the thing that was even more suspicious was like, YouTube, look, all I'm saying is it's suspicious. I'm not saying it's a fact that this happened. I'm just saying the evidence suggests that there was some finagling in the 2020 election. Because, YouTube can just ban the video. They can just ban me and delete the video. YouTube, I'm just speculating. Please don't delete my video. Don't ban my channel, please. This platform is crazy. I wish someone could buy YouTube the same way Elon bought X, so that people can just speak, so we can just have these conversations without worrying about our channels getting deleted. It's genuinely absurd that that's the case. Anyway, that whole situation by itself would have been suspicious. Biden being behind, and then they go to bed, and then they wake up in the morning, all of a sudden he's ahead because of these mail-in ballots. That would have been suspicious by itself. But what's also suspicious is that these mail-in ballots, they were all in Biden's favor. All of them. People might say that, oh, just because Democrats are the ones who usually use mail-in ballots, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, all of them? It's just like, it just doesn't make sense, bro. Anyway, I don't think that the same party that can do this in their own primaries, they can rig their own primaries, can also, or they're virtuous enough to not cheat in the national election. What a bunch of nonsense. I think there's a strong possibility. YouTube, listen to me, YouTube. I'm saying there's a strong possibility. I'm not saying it happened for a fact. I'm just saying there's a strong possibility that they did cheat in 2020 and they want to cheat again. I'll have to pray after I publish this video. I mean, after I upload, after I finish filming, I need to pray that I don't get in trouble for saying what I'm saying right now. Yeah, it's a problem, guys. It's a serious problem. These people are getting exposed. These Democrats, the Republicans aren't much better. At least the establishment Republicans, because it's a uni party. It seems like at the end of the day, this is politics 101. You can't trust any of these fuckers. Because they're raised in this swamp. They're raised in this political establishment where the game is to lie to people and make false promises and serve your own interests and pursue power, right? So at the end of the day, it's one big establishment, and then you have people who are anti-establishment. To some extent, Bernie represented anti-establishment, which is why they didn't like him. Which is why he was sidelined for Hillary, because he wanted to implement certain policy positions, which would have been terrible because Bernie's a socialist, and socialism doesn't work. But hey, he's a true believer. He believes in what he's saying. He actually meant what he was saying, and he wanted to enforce those policies, and they wanted nothing to do with that because they have their own agendas. They were like, no, this guy actually wants to do his job. We refused, and they sidelined him. It's the same way with Trump, where he was not raised in this political establishment. He came from outside it, and therefore he posed a threat not only to Democrats, by the way, but to Republicans as well. There are a lot of Republicans who don't like Trump because he's not part of the clique. He's not part of the swamp. He came from outside of the swamp. So yeah, it's a problem. Y'all, the Democrats are stuck with. Well, they're not really stuck with Biden because he's literally unfit for office. He can't run. You're stuck with Kamala, who's just as unpopular as Biden is in many regards. And she's just as dumb, even though she doesn't have the cognitive impairment Biden has, which is impressive to pull off. So I don't think there's anyone really that the Democrats can put up that can beat Trump in a race. Just because there's not enough time left. Like when it comes to these campaigns, you have to give people time to get familiar with the candidate. The time to do that was during the primaries, but just like we discussed just now, they rigged their own primaries. Biden was the one that they put up. They didn't give people a choice. So you just left with Biden and Kamala. Really, if they try and force someone in through some other process, someone that people didn't vote for, it's gonna be a problem, because you're supposed to be the party that's all about democracy, yada yada yada. You can't say that and then you put forth a nominee rather, that no one voted for. Like, we didn't vote for this person and yet now they're running for president. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I think they're stuck with Biden and Kamala. And Kamala will probably be the one they put forth. She can't beat Trump. She's very unpopular. If you just look at her polling. Even when she was running for president and all that sort of stuff, even as vice president, she's just not a popular politician. No one wants her. She will lose. There's no one that can put forth. There's speculation that Michelle Obama might be a good pick, but again, no one voted for her in the primaries. You can't just put her forth. It's undemocratic. It's not fair. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, man, I hope people, when it's time to vote in November, because again, look, the world has a vested interest in this election, because America is the most powerful nation in the world. The things that affect America affect everyone else. They really do. People don't understand that. They think it's a joke, it's a game. It's not. And there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being the most powerful nation in the world. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. So my prayer is that people make the right voting decision when the time comes. Listen, when you're voting for someone like Trump, you need to understand something. He's not coming to sleep with you, okay? He's not coming to your house to fuck you. He's running the country. People vote like they have to have this guy at his house. Oh, I just can't. He says things, da 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 da. He says mean things. He says this, he says that. It's like, listen, is he good at his job? That's the only question you need to answer. I love using the Batman analogy because it's so accurate. You can complain that Batman breaks people's bones and is very mean to the criminals. Does he fight crime? Is he effective at fighting crime? Yes or no? Jim Gordon said in that movie, The Dark Knight, he might not be the hero you want, but he's the hero you need. So you have to put your personal feelings aside. It's so childish to vote so emotionally. Compare Trump's 4 years to Biden's 4 years. You have to compare that and see what makes the most sense. No one in their right mind, no one who's actually thinking, will say that Biden's 4 years have been successful. They'll lie about the economy and say that the economy is doing great. It's not. It's just not. I don't know what else to say. People can see that prices are up in almost every metric available. People's groceries are expensive, gas is expensive, rent is expensive, everything is expensive. to suggest that economies that they'll say, oh, record high jobs. It's like jobs that were lost during COVID are coming back now. That's not record high jobs. That's just jobs that are kind of lost during COVID that are coming back, and also government jobs, which are not good jobs, because government jobs, guess who pays for government jobs? Taxpayers. So it's a revolving door. So you're not generating any new income. The only way to generate new income is through the private sector. You can't say the government is gonna create jobs for the populace, but then the populace must pay for the salaries of those jobs. Like, what the? Doesn't work, guys. So it's all a prank. It's a farce. So the Biden administration created amazing jobs. No, that's not true. And then also they say record low border crossings, which is, he said he had less border crossings than Trump. But it's like what are we doing at this point? It's such a blatant, obvious lie. The border's wide open. Millions of crossings every year. Hundreds of thousands every month. Wait, no, I think it's millions every month. Hundreds of thousands. Anyway, it's a lot. It's a lot of people. I don't want to get into that. It's a lot of people that are crossing that border. It's hilarious to suggest that that he's been the best at this issue of the border cross. It's like, it's so absurd. Anyway, there's a lot you can compare. Oh, your reputation on the global stage. Your reputation on the global stage as well is in tatters. I need to play you something. Hold on. Because I want to play you this story that this guy's telling about Trump. And it's just to show you the dichotomy between Trump and Biden in terms of just leadership on the world stage, and how one was genuinely feared and respected, whereas one is made fun of. There was a video of Giorgia Meloni, the Italian prime minister, making fun of Biden behind his back because he's a clown. He was late, and she was just rolling her eyes at him and stuff like that. And no one respects Biden. And Biden has done things like saying to Putin, if you invade Ukraine, there's going to be issues. Don't invade Ukraine. I'm telling you not to. And then Putin invaded Ukraine anyway. He told Netanyahu, don't go into Rafah in Gaza, or else there's going to be consequences. Netanyahu went into Rafah anyway. Like, he set all these red lines and people crossed them. China was floating balloons. There was a whole Chinese spy balloon scandal where they're floating balloons in American airspace, and they popped the balloons. These are literally balloons with cameras. They're literally spying on America. And nothing happened. No consequences. People don't respect Biden. He's not a strong president at all. So the video I'm about to play is like 1 minute. It's just showing you the dichotomy between Trump and Biden. Let's get into it.
Give you my favorite President Trump story. This is my number one favorite of all time. When we were negotiating with the Taliban while President Trump was still the president, President Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan, but he wanted a conditions-based withdrawal. Meaning that you do what we tell you to do, and then we will start pulling troops back slowly as long as you abide by our rules. It's President Trump and Mike Pompeo, and they are talking to Taliban leadership in the room, and they had one translator in the room. President Trump looked at the Taliban leader and said this: I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal. And translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him.
Yes.
Tell him what I said. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and walked out the room. Give me my favorite.
So yeah. And he goes on to explain how there were, for 18 months, no American soldiers were hurt by the Taliban, so on and so forth. Because, they took Trump very seriously. And then contrast that to Biden now. America has lost 7 U.S. embassies across the world. They've lost embassies just because it's the very basic concept. When your enemies don't fear you, they're going to play games with you. So if you have instances where American infrastructure around the world is being attacked, is being removed, like certain deals are falling through, like people are not renewing contracts. With I think it was Afghanistan, and the They were buying petrol, oil with the dollar. They had a contract in which they would be doing that. They'd been doing that for many years, and the contract met its end, and you can either renew your contract or end the contract and move on. They chose to end the contract. They are no longer. Was it Saudi Arabia, not Afghanistan? Saudi Arabia. Sorry, I think it's Saudi Arabia that abandoned the petrodollar. Yeah, they're just not using the dollar anymore. A lot of countries are not trading with the dollar anymore because they're like, it's a joke what's going on in this country, and we want nothing to do with it. This is under Biden's leadership. This was not happening under Trump. So when people are voting, these are things they need to think about. You're not voting for this guy to be your best friend and tuck you in bed. Please. You're voting for someone to lead your country. How was your economy under Trump? How was foreign policy under Trump? There were no wars under Trump. We're not hearing stories about Israel doing this and that. We're not hearing about Russia invading Ukraine. The only president that Putin never invaded Ukraine under was Trump. Under Obama, I think he did he had an incursion on what was it? He pushed into Ukraine under Obama. Under Trump, he did the same under Bush. Under Trump, he did not do anything. And then under Biden, again, now we're seeing this current invasion again. What does that tell you? There's something about Trump that makes these people not want to act up. So these are the sort of considerations people should be making when they're voting. And it's important to talk about these things, guys, because there'll be people that say, oh no, why are you talking about politics? I'm talking about life. I'm talking about things that interest me. I'm talking about things that I feel like are important. And it's not for everyone, I guess, but it affects everyone. So it is for everyone, whether you like it or not. And we need to talk about these sort of things. It just baffles me that people are such sheep and can't think and use logic to say, like, one guy is clearly better than the other when it just came to handling the job. It's not even close. It's not even a little bit close. So hopefully people can use their brains when the time comes. We'll see. Even if they do, you have to hope that there isn't any finagling or foul play during the election process. You want people to win fair and square. We'll see. But don't be naive and think these Democrats are just these nice people that never cheat. And it's not true. They cheat in their own primaries, guys. They will 100%, if given the opportunity, cheat in the national election as well. Obviously. And I believe there's evidence that suggests they've done it before. YouTube, please. Oh, I'm walking on eggshells on this platform. Anyway, let me know what you think. There's so much more I could have gotten into that I wanted to get into, but it's already a long video. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd like to pray at the end of my videos. Dear Father God, thank you for this individual watching this right now. Thank you for making them whole, unique, and guiding them on a path towards peace, prosperity, and purpose. Thank you for blessing this person with wonderful people in their life who love them, take care of them, bring the absolute best out of them. And thank you for maintaining the ones that are there to do the same thing. Thank you for blessing this person with love, marriage, and sustaining that love and marriage and making very, very, very happy. Thank you for blessing this person with the spirit of gratitude so they can give thanks for all the wonderful things in their life. And by giving thanks, they can find peace, contentment, and protect you from more blessings. Let your presence be found in this person's life so they know that you're God, that you're real, that you love them, always going to be there for them. Good health, long life, and happiness over this person, everyone they care about in your mind. And pray in your mind, pray in Jesus' name, pray. Amen, 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 amen.